Afrofish OG. What is going on, everyone? It is Afro again for another edition, episode 19. We are one away from 20 of Afro in the Know. Technically, I guess there would be more than 20, but I don't count the other ones. So, but today we have a new guest, in all the way from, I just call it the TikTok land, but DarkGoddess Eris. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. And I was actually, this is probably one of the fastest I've ever had. Like went from like no setup to a podcast.
Yeah, I felt really bad. I was like, "Oh, he's in the middle of something."
No, it was my fault for mishandling the times. I gotta get to sleep. I gotta sleep.
Oh, I feel that. I feel that so much.
Yeah, man, overnights are a pain. I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
But
they really are.
they are. But I'm, we're here today. It's great. You know what? It's Saturday. It's good. I hope everyone's having a great time at wherever they're at. And I want to kick this off. I like kicking this off the best way always, and just kind of letting everybody else who does not know who you are, what you all about.
Yeah, give me one second. So I'm Dark Goddess Eris, and my tagline is "Welcome to the chaos, where nothing ever goes my way." Because every stream, there's always something that doesn't go my way. Like for example, today. I was like so stressed. I was like, oh my God, it's at 5, it's at 5, it's at 5. And then it turns out that I kind of had the times wrong anyway. So yeah, it's always a thing with my stream. Dark Goddess Eris. Eris is the Greek mythology. She is the goddess of chaos. So
Mhm.
I just kind of played with that on all my streams. It's literally chaos. There's nothing ever goes smoothly. And I think that's kind of indicative of how it is for streamers, especially small streamers who are just starting out. It's one of those things. I've been streaming for like 2 years and there's never been a smooth stream.
No, absolutely. Like it's honestly can be kind of like nerve wracking when you know you're like, okay, I got everything up. Is my camera good? Is my sound good? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for me, I get a call being like, "Why aren't you at work?" But
Right, exactly.
but yeah, it's always something. I personally, but there's something really just fun about streaming though too.
I
I,
think so too. Give me one
like
second.
once I don't know. Maybe this is my first question to you, I guess, on it is like when you start getting into the groove of it. Like, what do you when you first started streaming? Why?
Uh-huh.
Why did you?
So my whole idea was that if I'm going to be playing video games, because I love playing video games, why not just stream it? And if there's people out there that like it, then why not? Um, it's it's something where I just want to share what I love with other people, and I didn't want it to become like this. Oh yeah, this is gonna be my new career. I'm gonna do this full time. I didn't think I was gonna do that. I didn't think it was gonna be feasible for me to do something like that. But I at least wanted to connect to other people uh, by playing video games and just sharing what I was passionate about. Started with I believe the first game I tried to start streaming was Skyrim, and then I started
Mm.
doing Dragon Age. Um, I believe it was Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay.
And then I started going into Dragon Age Veilguard. I was doing such a big binge for Dragon Age. And then I started going into Dragon Age Veilguard.
Okay. Did you ever play the first two?
Yes, I started with actually Origins, and then I moved my way on to Dragon Age 2. And then out of nowhere, I was at this used bookstore, and I was looking for the games because I didn't have them at the time. I was looking for the games, and I stumbled upon Inquisition, and I was like, "Wait a minute, there's a third game? How did I not see this easily?" When I first played it, I didn't think I was gonna like it because the subtitles were way too small,
Mhm.
and I couldn't really hear what was going on, and I was just like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it another shot," and it easily became my favorite game
That's awesome.
ever,
That's
ever. Yeah.
awesome. Like I've only played Veilguard. I have not.
Really?
Yes, that was my.
Oh,
I kept women like, well, I'll play him. You know, you're like, I'll play him, and then I don't, and then I don't, and then I don't. And I was going to. I played like, I think I played like maybe 15 minutes of Inquisition, but I really don't count that.
really?
Yeah, and I'll get back
Ah,
to it. I'm going to get back to it eventually. And so like I was like, you know what? The newest one came out and it was on PlayStation Plus. And I was or is it a PlayStation? Yeah, I think it was PlayStation Plus. And so I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. I'm seeing
yeah.
people online. They're this game was terrible, blah blah blah. So I'm like, I the beginning of the year was pretty much, and last year too, I guess I would say, was really just going through games that people were just dogging to see if they were actually bad.
So,
Or
okay, tell me, what were your thoughts on it? Like, was
uh,
it
I'm still finishing it. I'm still finishing it, but I enjoy it. Like I really do. I like from what I gather from the characters, I like the characters, I like the world, I like the combat. It's fun. It feels I'm not gonna lie, they feel a little bullet spongy at times. Where
yeah.
I feel like I'm like, all right, can we, I mean, I'm like, am I just not doing enough damage, or your health just higher than what it feels like it should be?
Yeah,
Um,
so that was like there was a lot of concerns about the game from diehard fans because the game Veilguard was made to be tailored to new and older audiences, and the older audiences felt that they had a lot of mixed reviews, and then as you brought up with like being so the enemies being so like tank heavy and their damage being really like high compared to what we're used to. Normally it's like an even like playfield you can go through like from beginning to end your monsters, and you were like leveling up at the same time, whereas this, it just felt like you were literally being pummeled.
yeah,
And I liked it. I loved it.
that was my only like kind of small gripe, and like in terms of like gameplay wise, but otherwise I've had no issues. And like
Yeah.
what I my only gripe narratively is sometimes it feels like for how dense and like dreary the world is, and then they kind of just are having this kind of a jokey moment in there. I'm like, I get it, but like I feel like the tone feels a little off at times.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that was another thing, that
that's
we did
yeah,
have, like, as you said, a gripe about. It's like, "Hey, we're in the middle of, like, literally a world-shattering event right now. Can we not?"
right. Like I
Yeah.
know I don't I had someone compare it to the MCU writing, which I don't personally like to call it that. I think MCU has their own different style of it.
Yeah.
But I think with this one, there's a bit of times where it does get that tonal flip, but it's kind of rare. It just when it does happen, you notice. Other than that, I had a lot of fun. I like the customization of it. I've like
Uh-huh.
respect my skills at least 3 times to
Yeah.
just try different styles. And then once I found I'm a human because I was like I can be a human. I think I can be a dwarf. I can be a Quinari. Uh,
Yes.
I'm gonna be a Quinari next time because I'm like you tell me I get to be I'm like a big old horn like devil horn person. I'm like that's just cool.
Yeah, so in the other games, and I know if you get me talking about Dragon Age, I will talk about it all the time. So feel free to like redirect me if you have
No,
to.
you're all good. Like
But so in the other games, you couldn't play as a Canary until the third game. And
really,
then the Canary, one of the gripes that some people had was that the Canary seemed bigger in the third game than they did in Belgard. And I think that was just because of how the models were. There was a lot of cuts that were made um to the game itself. It was supposed to be a longer game.
Mhm.
There was a little bit more script writing to it that got axed, and that happens
Okay.
when
Yeah.
you have EA kind of like with their hands in everything. But in terms of like the MCU writing, yeah, a lot of people, especially when that reveal trailer came out, a lot of people got the vibe that it was very much Avengers.
Yeah, that's understandable because it kind of is. Like you're recruiting these people, they're from all different walks, but
Yeah.
to be fair, if I say this is Avengers, then technically the Ocarina of Time is Avengers because they have
Yeah.
the medallion.
Exactly. I
Yeah, so,
I think a lot of people were just very used there was a lot of modernness to like the music. Like you could just hear the type of battle music that you would hear in, say, like an Avengers game or
mhm,
a Marvel thing, or the modern Disney action series. There was a lot of modern terminology, and again, this was to fit the current demographic that we have in gamers.
right.
Because I was watching your live earlier, and there was a lot of people who mentioned, like, you were talking about the expectations, and everybody was talking about how they had sorry, it was like on the tip of my tongue. You were mentioning something about Marvel about
Oh,
about about the unexpected real uh
yeah,
une-
unexpected
yeah.
expectation or unrealistic
Yeah,
expectations during your
unrealistic
gaming experience.
expectations. That's what it was. Unrealistic expectations regarding video games, and that's what a lot of people just had. A lot of people expected us to get games like Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2,
Mm.
but ended
No,
up getting something completely different, and that did not go over well with a lot of the Dragon Age community who were there since like Origins, like for over a decade, because this there was a 10-year gap between Inquisition and Veilguard.
damn.
So
Yeah,
there was
that's
a lot of
incredible.
high expectations, and some of those expectations were just not met. So just to kind of tie into what you were talking about earlier about
Right. And it's not going to be like I'm a big advocate, and you'll hear this a lot in my lives. I'm a big advocate for people trying different things. I think that Dragon Age Veilguard, if it was not set like in the same line as Inquisition, and let's say it was something separate
Mhm.
to it, I don't think it would have got the same kind of flack. Because it would have been if they were like, hey, this isn't a sequel to Inquisition, this is its own story separate from in a different part of whatever the world is. I don't know much about Dragon Age lore. So I think people would have been a little more forgiving, but I think yeah, when it came to the actual like, oh, this is a sequel to it and this is what we got. I'm
Yeah.
all for people doing new stuff. I love it. I love seeing people do new stuff. Will it hit with everyone? No. But I do
No,
agree
yeah.
that um trying to hit old and new, we've seen in multiple instances are never always a good thing. I'm sorry, they're really not.
Yeah.
It's such a hard line to toe because you're never going to make it happen. You have the diehard purists who are, still going to be upset that, Origin or the Inquisition and Veilguard don't play like Origins and, you know,
Right, exactly.
I don't know. Like it's got to be hard being a developer.
There, I actually, so you brought up a really great point that when developers do new games, and gamers have such a high expectation for these sequels. I mean, big example of those was when Assassin's Creed switched from,
Mm.
their original styling of gaming to Origins and then to Odyssey. And then you had Valhalla, which could have been a completely separate game, not even in the AC, like,
It doesn't.
yeah,
It
it
feels
doesn't
like
it
it in
didn't
name.
yeah, it didn't feel like it was part of that series. It could have been a completely different game. Wonderful game. I love AC Valhalla. I think it's a wonderful game. But you could literally remove Assassin's Creed from the title and it would still be a very good game and not have anything to do with Assassin's Creed.
Oh, absolutely. And that was the thing that got me so about Valhalla is like it's like what an hour, 2 hours into it, and I finally get the hidden blade, but I've already done so much combat with my axes and
Right.
everything. I'm like, I don't It's kind of like if I took an NFL linebacker and made him an assassin. It's just not doesn't feel
Right.
like
It was they were very tanky for an assassin.
yeah. So I'm like, yeah, this is not no, this is not it. Like,
Yeah,
but
so because of that, after I got the hidden blade, I literally made it a point to sneak as much as I possibly could, because if I'm gonna be playing as an assassin, I might as well, try to be one. But it didn't make sense for for the raids and stuff that you were doing. And then you have the shift to Shadow. I haven't played Shadow
I
yet,
haven't either.
but I know a lot of people there was that same divide between OG players and new players. A lot of players really loved it, and then some people were just like they got rid of the waypoints, where you get to climb on top of something and it does that total 360
Oh, they got
spin. A
rid of
lot of
that?
yeah,
The
they
Google
don't
Vision,
have that.
whatever. I love that when you get to see from like when like Ezio or Altair do it from like far away and you get to see everything.
Yeah,
It's
you
so
got to
cool.
see everything. That was like one of my favorite things about when they did it in Odyssey. The graphics were just so beautiful. So when they did it in Odyssey, it was amazing. And then they did it in Valhalla. That looked good as well. And then when I heard that that was taken away for Shadow, and again, I haven't played it, so I don't know what is in place of it. But it's now like, damn, that was like I mean, show off the beauty of like the graphics that you guys have for your games. Even Assassin's Creed, like the first couple of games, the graphics were amazing even now. Um, and they, being able to see that in full scope the way that you could at the save points, uh, compared to now, I was a little bummed out about that
That's
actually.
fair. No, I would be too. Like I would 110% be too. Like I find it so it's cool in general, like especially with like the way that Assassin's Creed has been able to go to different eras and periods. But that's one part that I've always enjoyed was like climbing as high as possible to like those towers and just seeing the area. And there's something just it was like it always felt to me like that was the developers kind of just showing off.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
being like, yeah, you see all that? We did all this. But when you take that away, then I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I think when developers have such wonderful graphics, they should show it off. That's why when you played like God of War Ragnarok, or just, just the newest God of War series, when they had those wide views, like where you can literally just pan out from Kratos and see,
mhm.
those are things like even Skyrim. I think if you were to revamp Skyrim right now, just like how they did with, what was it, Morrowind? Um
Mm. Or
no, Oblivion.
Oblivion,
It was
Oblivion.
Oblivion. They redid Oblivion. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Sorry, Elder
Nope.
Scrolls fans out there. But with with Skyrim, I think if they were to revamp it now and throw in a free cam,
Mm.
or a fly cam, if you will, I think people would lose their minds over that.
I
Uh,
think
there's so many things that gamers love now, and the biggest thing is being able to view things,
right.
that the developers have done.
And I agree with that because I think and I think from the developers and I don't want to talk for them, but from the developer standpoint, it has to be really cool to see these people just like Ghost of Tsushima. And I haven't played Ghost of War yet,
Yes.
but Ghost of Tsushima was I remember I was running and it was like the sun's going down and stuff, and I was like in the middle
Yes.
of I'm like, yo, this is officially the most beautiful game I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
I
Um,
I think the one thing that Ghost of Tsushima did really well was the fact that they integrated different picture modes. They had that old school
mm,
Japanese, like that old
black and white,
Japanese, yeah, black and white
so cool.
vibe to it.
It was, and like I played it, so I played it like normally like with color and all the other stuff, right? But I played that and I had to use the Japanese with the subtitles. Like I felt like I was doing myself a disservice from
Yeah.
listening in English. Like I had to, but like now I want to go back and play it with the black and white. um, but it is like the one thing is when it comes down to it, and I know people, there's a lot of this graphics aren't everything, but they kind of are like with that with the way that graphics look and their art styles, you can make some games that just sit there, and I'm like, it's a feast for your eyes.
Right,
Um,
exactly. And I
Final
think
Fantasy is one of the kings of that.
yes. Yeah, Final
Like,
Fantasy does really, really well with those graphics, and am pleasing everybody with that. I think that's why when I play video games that have any type of role playing to it, my biggest thing that I look for is how well they did the character creator. Uh, that
Yes.
is that is my biggest thing, because if I cannot create my own character, then the character I expect to already be very well done. Like, I've seen footage of First Horizon, and that
Mhm.
those graphics, the way they did the character really well. God of War, same thing. You can't create your characters, but they look really well done. So when you play RPGs like Baldur's Gate 3, the the character creators is so pivotal for gamers like me, because I get so immersed in the story. I want my character to look right. Um, it's another reason why I don't do a whole lot of modding on my games, just because it takes me out of the immersion sometimes.
That's fair. Like I know, like the only time I really don't do modding either, except for Skyrim, and it's usually just like the scenery or the weather
Yes.
effects, but like keep the rest of the game as good as possible so it don't crash. But like
Oh man, Sky when I got introduced to Skyrim mods, it was over for me. I have not been able to finish a single Skyrim playthrough since I've discovered mods. Just because I spend more time in the mods than I do anything else.
I do too. Like I after I started, found I think it was, I don't know if it was the Xbox version or the PlayStation version, but one of them gave me a ring that allowed me to just fire on command, no charging required. So like
Oh.
I was just running through just like fireball, 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 and like it sounded like it was just at that point it just sounded like just going like brap, 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 the entire
uh
time.
so some of my favorite mods that I did with Skyrim, there was you got to give your shopkeepers more money.
Mm,
The carry weight was probably my biggest one. And then maybe some different type of armors.
okay.
Uh, that's what I did. And then of course, all the graphics.
Yeah.
You, my PC is old, so when I tried to do it, it just like would crash my game so much. So I had to stop with that. And then they integrated the mods onto PlayStation,
Mhm.
and then I was really done. I was really done.
That's what, and you know what's crazy? I have it on Xbox and I have it on PlayStation. And
Oh,
yeah, I
I
went
feel like Skyrim's one of those games that you have to have it on every platform
I
that you play it
do,
on.
and I do. And so when I had it on Xbox, there was some mods that were only on Xbox that were not on PlayStation.
Oh, really?
Yes. So one of the mods, I was like, okay, so I wanted like, of course, like graphic mods, different spells. One of them that I really, really loved was they were like, the followers, right?
Right.
So I tried a bunch of different followers. And the one I had the most fun with was her name was Edlana. She was a half Nord, half giant who
Oh,
starts off at level 15. And so I could, be my because wizard am I right? Being a wizard takes a while, unless mod it, of course. But like
yeah,
being a
exactly.
wizard does take a bit to get there. Also, I remember I boosted up a lot of I made a big mistake in my alteration spells, because even if you use spell like regular spells, your alteration, I think it's like when it absorbs or whatever on passively, it just passively will just absorb my own spells. So I would try to launch like a lightning attack, and it would just absorb my lightning attack, and I was like, oh no. And I've taken a couple L's that way. But
Oh man. I try to do some of the followers, and it didn't stick with me, because again, like, some of them just seemed way like they're either way too like different in graphic quality, or they didn't have any like function other than to just be there.
That's
And
fair.
at least the ones that I found. So what I ended up coming across was that you could load up your Dovahkiin from other gameplays, and you can bring them into your
Oh,
current gameplay as a follower.
that's
Uh,
so cool.
I went to town with that. I always had uh my 2 Dovahkiins playing together.
I'm listening to it while cleaning.
Yeah, shiny. Okay, so I'm sorry, I just saw Shiny pop up. Shiny is one of my newest followers and he's in my stream like almost every day. He's a great kid. He does he loves to enjoy like community games and stuff.
Nice.
And he's trying to hit affiliate. So that's one thing about my
Woo.
community that I really love is that it's all about like helping each other. Just to kind of bring it back to being a small streamer, like that's the goal is to build community while also sharing in each other's wins and stuff.
Of course.
So he, like he said earlier, I got him into playing Dragon Age Veilguard, and, I didn't think I could pull anybody to play Dragon Age because Dragon Age is such a niche kind of game.
Mhm. No, it really is, and you're absolutely correct. Like one of the things is like throughout like doing a lot of these with other streamers, and I love seeing streamers grow. Um,
Yes.
I think I've one of the streamers that I just did one with Gaming Cafe. Great guy, and I think he's surpassed me in followers now. And
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah,
Wow.
I sat there when I was looking through it. I'm like looking at him like his profile. And I'm like, damn, this motherfucker just passed me like that. And there's so many people that I've had the opportunity to talk to and stuff like that and just get to know. And um I one of the games I really enjoyed was Forspoken. And
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to the voice actress who did the voice actress, and I believe the cam for the motion cam for it as well, to see if she'll do an interview with me about it.
Oh, that'd be
Um,
so cool.
oh yeah, I've sent them out to I sent a different one out to people, like I've sent one out to Adam Sessler from X Play. Um, I just my thing is like uh uh what is it? Who's Stroopwafel, who does he does a lot of like other gaming stuff as well. Bigger follower, he's got like 24,000. And
Wow.
crazy enough, the thing that cracks me up is I just found out that Stroopwafel is an actual food. So
Oh,
I did not know it was a food. Me and my wife went into a cafe and it said a Stroopwafel, and all of a sudden I'm just sitting there staring. I'm like, huh.
is it like what is it called? Like a funnel cake or
I'm guessing. I didn't ask more to figure it out, but like everything. I don't know why, but it was like one of those moments you see in like an anime or something where everything hits them at the same time, and I'm like, damn, this
yeah,
motherfucker
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah,
one
yeah,
type of
yeah. Like
food.
everything starts to piece together.
Yeah. But like and he made a statement saying, closed mouths never don't eat. Closed mouths don't eat. And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, you're right. So you just keep on, you keep on asking, you keep on seeing, and it's fun. I love watching people grow. I love watching people grow. Like hearing that Shiny's trying to get affiliate, like that's gonna make me want to go and follow him. Like, you know
Yes.
what I mean? That's gonna make me want to go and follow you because I want to see people grow. I want to see you try to start making that money, dude. Like,
Yeah, see, so that was like the biggest thing. Like, so me and my husband were both gamers. We both have our own streaming channels and we're both completely different type of streamers. I am very like my schedule is very tailored to certain type of games. I'm very much a little more structured just because I have to have that. And then my husband, he plays like due to his health, he plays when he can, but when it comes to like gaming, it's what he feels like in the mood for. And some streamers are just like that, where they stream what they feel like doing. And then you have the people who are like, I'm in a series mode. I'm gonna play this, and I'm not wavering from it until I'm done. And that could be months, that could be days. And it just shows how well people could be so aligned with each other, but also have different like tastes. So and that's what I love about my community is that we all have different things that we're doing. And then there are times where we go and get together and we play together. But other than that, we have our own niche like groups that we stick to. Our community enjoys watching. What some people might enjoy watching with me, they might not enjoy watching with somebody else, and that's what I love about streaming is that there's always something for someone.
no, absolutely. So my question then is, do you guys play Mario Party, or like we not trying to destroy the community just yet?
So you know what? I would love to do some Mario Party and Mario Kart. I need to get my Switch back up and going again. It's been a while since I played my Switch, but I want to play it. I want to play the new Pokemon ZA game. I call it
Same,
affectionately Pokemon
dude. Like
ZA.
it looks like fun.
A lot
Like,
of my community members are all playing it, and I feel so left out.
is it on both Switch and Switch 2? Or is it just on Switch 2?
I think it's both. I think it's both,
Okay.
Switch and Switch 2.
So
My
we're in
sister
that in
has it.
between kind of period where we like still got Switch games in, because I know at some point they're gonna stop making Switch games to just focus on Switch 2.
Ugh,
It's gonna happen at some point.
I listen, community of, like, developers out there, please stop. I can only afford so many consoles at a time.
It can only be broke so many times before it starts to
Exactly,
like,
exactly. I just there's so many people who are streaming, this is they make this their job, so they get all the devices they can, they get all the games that they can in hopes that they find that niche. And I always try to tell my community members at the very least, like, listen, if you want to stream, go for it, do it. Don't ever stop yourself from streaming. Do not expect to make millions of dollars. It's the same thing with TikTok. Do not expect to make millions of dollars right as soon as you start. And even after hitting affiliate, don't expect to make millions of dollars. You gotta grow to that. And even as a partner, that's not something that you're gonna hit right away. Like, the top
right.
maybe 5% partners are
Yeah, they
millionaires.
don't. It's very, very rare to get to that point. Like, I joke about like I want to make enough money so I can afford like a McDonald's meal, and then I go like I want to make enough money so I can put gas in my car.
Yes,
And I just keep going. I want to keep going up higher and higher from there. Like that's
exactly.
obviously the goal. It's a business. At the end of the day, you are pretty much self-employed.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
and that's the part that I don't think people fully get all the time is that they do come in, they expect like, why are people not checking my streams? And sometimes I'll go into streams and even do my own friend streams, and I won't really say much of anything, but I just want to see like, hey, why am I struggling with this? Sometimes I think the hardest thing to tell people, sometimes your personality is just not interesting.
Exactly.
Is the hardest part to tell people, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Sometimes it's just not. I'm not saying you need that you're a bad person. It's just that
Sometimes you gotta be over the top, and then sometimes
Mhm.
you have to have a gimmick. Um, I always tell my followers, listen, if you want to stream because you enjoy gaming, go for it. If you are wanting to stream because you think that it's an easy way to make money, don't do it. Uh,
100%
Streaming as a streamer, unless you are, like I said, top 5% of like partners, you are going to most likely make minimum wage or less
yes,
because you only get paid once a month.
yes.
And you're not making unless like I said, you're one of those partners who have dedicated followers who are willing to spend money every single day.
Mhm.
You're not going to make the kind of money that you think you're going to make. Like, some of these streamers are on TikTok, they're on YouTube, they're on every platform that you can be on, and even then they're probably not making as much money as you think they are unless they have millions and millions of followers.
And not
And
only that, but sponsors behind them
and
who they're
sponsors.
wearing something. They go to go drink a water bottle and they're purposely showing it. I
Yep.
mean, it's and the thing too that is like I use, let's say someone like Kai Cenat. That man is
Yes.
sitting in a chair nonstop. There is no move. I mean, unless he's specifically doing a stream outside, he's
Yep.
not moving from that spot. 7 o'clock in the morning to maybe 9 o'clock at night. There's no in between. People might come in and out of his room, sure. The political streamer Hassan Piker, the man
Yeah.
sits in a chair all day, like just watching news stuff the entire day. Like it's crazy. That's a lot of
It's
dedication. That's a
it's a lot,
full
yeah, you have
hour.
to dedicate yourself to the stream, and you cannot allow yourself to get discouraged with how many people are in there. You have to, like, sometimes like for me, like recently, the mental strain and the emotional strain of counting my viewers really got to me. So it really affected my stream. It made me not want to stream.
Mm-hmm.
I almost quit my streaming, and I'm glad I didn't, because I'm now officially celebrating 1 year of being affiliate this week, and
Nice.
I'm also celebrating 2 years of streaming, and that didn't come without its ups and downs. Like, there was a long period of time where I only had one viewer
Mm-hmm.
in my streams, and
There,
it's gonna be like that. You
there
you
might
you
be
have
days.
to. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, no,
And
no, you're fine.
another thing that there might be days where you like I like for example, like there's 7 people in here right now between TikTok and Twitch and YouTube. Last time I had 10. Time before that I had 2. Before that I had 2. I might have days. I've had days even on TikTok where I've done a TikTok live where I've had 50 plus people, over 100. I had a funny story. I always tell. I love the story. So the one day I had over 200 people in my life.
Oh,
In my
wow.
The only reason why is because I was sick, and because I was sick, my voice kind of sounded like Seth Rogen. So everybody thought I sounded like Seth Rogen the entire time, and I'm getting really upset. I'm like, I'm not Seth Rogen, but like, but the whole time they think that I am. You know, do I expect that again? Absolutely not. I'm like the opposite of Rogan. Like that's but it was funny. But that's a rare case.
You
Going
know,
viral is rare.
it is very rare. And sometimes it takes just that one, like, off the wall moment to capture more and more people. Like, okay, when I make my TikTok edits, I try to put out my gaming clips, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, okay, this is a really funny clip. I'm going to go ahead and put it out. But my humor is different than everybody else's humor. What they might think is funny may not be funny. So I put out, my clips, and I don't get as many hits as I think I would. I put out a Dragon Age Solovelin edit, and I get like over 1,000 views. I get, over 100 likes on it. It's crazy, the type of content that you can find people. So sometimes it just takes that one different, like, moment to
Mhm.
really get you a viral take. Another thing that I had to do for my own self, not just to try to help myself get partner, but just because I wanted to broaden my horizon, was I went from being 18 plus to a little more family friendly.
Mhm.
um I still curse, and it's just something that I try not to do as much, but it does slip out.
Right.
But I learned that there's a lot of sponsors out there, a lot of companies out there who are more willing to work with you if you have a broader audience. And that's the same thing with, like, your TikTok videos. If you only have a niche video type in your TikTok videos or in your streams, you're only going to attract those type of people. If you open up your community a bit more, you're going to attract more and more people. And, if you got like a 16-year-old kid who aspires to be a streamer, and they enjoy what you're doing and they look up to you, you are potentially changing their life for the better, because you are showing qualities that they want to have within themselves. And if you're displaying positive qualities, then that's a good thing. You could be saving a kid's life. They with the way mental health is right now, you never know what's going on with that kid's life. And if that kid enjoys watching your stream, and and you're not limiting to just 18 plus only, then you could be helping kids, with their self-esteem, their mental health, with their goals
Mhm.
in life. And then when parents see their kids in a positive mood, they want to get actively involved with their kids and what they're doing. So now, not only have you just gained these kids as your follower, but now you got their whole family. Their whole
Right.
family, wants to know, they want to get involved. So you're just, when you go a little more, just, I'm not saying completely family friendly, but if you go just a little bit more family friendly, where it's not always about, sexual innuendos, which I see a lot of gamers do, or just drunk bits, or just whatever. when you open it up a little bit more, you gain a bigger following, and it works. It really does work. I've got loyal followers. They may not be able to support me monetarily in terms of like bits and subs, but they're loyal followers. They are there every single day. And
Right.
not a lot of people can say that when they're looking at their average viewers and they're wondering where people are. It's, well, you're not really providing them something to stick around for.
No, absolutely. Like,
Sorry, I went on a tangent.
no, that's it's very true. It's because, and I think the word I'm looking for, this authenticity.
Yes.
It is so important. Because as streamers, we do, in a sense, especially to younger people, become, in a sense, role models. Whether you like it or not, the people are going to look at you. They're going to in a way look up to you and be like, wow,
Exactly.
you did well as a streamer, even if it's small time or whatever. And I want to be like that, And I think, being authentically yourself is so important, because it is easy to put on the face. It is very easy to put on the face. I mean,
Yes.
I think we've all done it at some point. I do it at my job. Like, let's be honest.
Everybody masks.
Yeah, and when I'm streaming, I am myself. If I'm having like a rough day, I have no problem expressing. I'm like, yeah, I'm frustrated right now. I'll tell you guys right now. I'm frustrated. I'm dealing with some stuff right now. That's why I play a game to go cool down. So let's go talk about something super random. And I think people value the authenticity of someone.
Yes.
When they see that you are being yourself, it makes them feel like they can do the same thing.
Exactly. My biggest thing that I tell my husband, because my husband, like I said, he streams when he can. He doesn't like to wear his health out there on his sleeve. He tries to, keep that out because he wants to enjoy the moment with his community. And I commend him, because that's really hard to do. There's a lot of streamers out there who either make that their whole thing, like, hey, I'm doing this because I have this, or they use it to advocate for other people who are like them. But then there's the streamers who just try not to discuss their health problems at all, because they don't want to bring other people down. They want to uplift everybody else up, and help them with their problems. And that's very commendable. But as you said, authenticity, showing when you're frustrated, showing when you're happy, it is a very a culture growing experience with your community, because now you're making it okay for your community to also be able to open up and be human. His name's Cowplay Game now. He has a very authentic personality. What you see is what you get. If he's frustrated, he's frustrated. If he's happy, you're going to enjoy that, that enthusiasm with him. His wins are your wins, and vice versa. So with me, sometimes I'm very like so into the game and locked in that I sometimes forget. And that's just me, how I am. That's authentically how I am. I'm not usually a big talker, so me talking right now is actually kind of
understandable.
Yeah.
It's so true. I know, like, when I'm streaming, like I streamed Borderlands 4 last night.
Yeah.
And I was dead ass honest. I was like, yo, I don't like the whole bullet sponge feel. Like, I don't like that. And when I'm playing the game, it does get me from, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm frustrated. And partway through, I was like, yeah, I'm switching to Dragon Age because I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored and I'm getting upset. And I'm like, no, we're not gonna ruin this stream. We're gonna have a good time. Before that, in that morning, I was playing Tekken 8. And I was having a blast playing Tekken 8, even when I was getting my ass whooped. Like, I sat there and I was like, I think it was one guy was playing as Kazuya, and I'm like, okay, he kind of, I think I can do this. I think I can play that. Nah, I went from wall to wall, and it was just like,
PvP games. The thing about PvP games, like, I love them so much. I get so aggressive and competitive. It just,
I do too. I have to be like, dude, this is where you will see me mask a little bit, where I'm like,
yeah,
no,
you gotta
totally fine with it. And I'm like, usually it's Tekken's not, because I know that I'm learning. Now, Smash Bros is a bit of a different story. I play Smash Bros. I love it. but like Smash Bros and Mario Kart. And the thing that's funny is I'm garbage at Mario Kart. Like I really am. But yet at the same time, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not gonna get too competitive. And then
Yeah.
like I get hit with like a red shell and I'm just like stone faced the rest of the
So
race.
when I decided I was going to start my streaming career and actually make a schedule, Wednesdays and Fridays were originally dedicated because I wanted to do something where I could just play with my husband, right? And
Mhm.
co-stream. And when he loved to do like PvP games. So Wednesdays and Fridays were dedicated to uh fighting games or Wreck It.
Mhm.
I call it Wreck It Wednesday, where I go in and I play games, and it's literally just to go in and wreck things. And we were playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero,
Ooh.
and oh my gosh, I'm a button smasher. He
Mhm.
he actually knows the controls.
Oh
And I'm
no.
just like furiously like pushing buttons to try to win. And I'm thinking I'm doing all this damage and I'm really not. Oh man, I get so mad. Like, I'm mad because then I just immediately just like go quiet. Like
Yep.
I'm just quiet.
I'm just
I get
like
so frustrated.
it's that lock in, and I've always said there's the moment where you just everything, like everything tunes out, and the focus is so heavy on the game, and I love those moments. I do. I'm the same way when it comes to the PvP. I also realize I am not above being petty. Like so, like I was playing. This is several years ago, but we were playing Injustice 2. I was playing at a friend's place, and I guess their daughter at Injustice 2. She was like maybe like 9 at the time, and so I'm trying. We just kind of going back, and I'm like trying it. I'm not really trying to take it seriously. I'm really not trying to take it seriously. Forgive her, and she's like, "You're kind of bad at this." It's like okay, and so we proceeded to just pretty much just ping pong her the rest of the match.
So there's one person in the world that I cannot stand playing against, because I know if I play against them, I will 100% lose almost every single time. And that's my dad.
Really?
I started gaming because so okay, when I started gaming, I was a little kid in like the 90s,
Right.
and my grandparents had a Nintendo. And I would play their Nintendo, and then we had a Sega, the original PlayStation, all that stuff. And my dad was always gaming. And so when they started doing multiplayer games where like other people could play like the Mortal Kombat and stuff, I would always play with them. And every single time, without fail, it was 9 times out of 10 he would win. And up to this day, it's still like that, where my dad will consistently beat me in a game, and it pisses me off so much because I think I'm getting better, and then he just, like, comes out of nowhere with this combo that I've never seen before.
That happened with my brother. And this is why like I was playing throughout pretty much my whole childhood. My brother, he's 3 years younger than me, and he was always
Mhm.
better in Smash Bros. Like it didn't matter what it was, he was always better, and it would infuriate me. Because it was just like I didn't know what it was, like why I would just keep screwing up. I mean, of course, like whenever I really analyze myself back then, you get into bad habits and blah blah blah.
Right.
But I didn't know that, and so it wasn't until Smash 4 came out. I used to do Smash Bros tournaments. I used to host Smash Bros tournaments for community service, but it worked. And he came in one time. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, let's go play," and I absolutely obliterated him. And like it was at that moment, like every sense, it was like every sense of like me losing was gone because that moment was there.
Because
Like I
you
don't know if
beat
you've
them
ever
that one time, and it's like you
right,
feel like
like
you're on top of the world,
it
yeah.
was like you ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, all of my past selves high fived me like, like and
I When it comes to gaming, like games like first person shooters, games that are highly competitive. Like for a long time, I didn't play COD because I just knew that community was just I would I would either rage quit or I would get sucked into going back and forth with somebody. Like I knew. So I stayed away from COD for a long time until this year, maybe a couple months ago. I played Warzone for like the first time. I've only played, I could tell you right now, I've played COD 6 times in my life. And it's so interesting to see like the dynamic of what it's like to play against other players. Um, you see a completely different side of yourself when you're playing against other players, whether it's a family member, whether it's your partner, whether it's complete strangers. I've seen matches where people are just talking nonstop shit to each other and just ragging on somebody because they're losing, and then they lose themselves and they're the quietest person in the lobby. It's just insane, the differences of what it's like to play by yourself in
Mhm.
a very high intense game like Hollow Knight, for example,
Right.
versus playing a highly competitive game where you're going up like a like what is it called, a Battlefield 6. I'm not sorry.
Yeah. No, you're
But
good.
you
Yeah.
know.
No, you're absolutely correct. Like, I used to play. I started with like COD, like 3 on the PlayStation
Mhm.
2, and then I played up till Black Ops 2 back in 2012, and I stopped through there because I was like, I'm just gonna take a break from it, and it was different. Like, I've noticed that as I got older, there was certain like my tastes have changed, and I realized that like I as much as I love competitive, like the competitive shooter genre, there,
Right.
there does come to a point where I'm just like, it does kind of get a little old. I mean,
It does.
I went to play Black Ops 6. I haven't played a Black Ops, like I said, since 2. So like when I went to go play 6, I was like, okay, like I'm having fun because I mentioned this. I had to like also tailor my expectations. Because I know some people do. They take it very, very seriously. I don't for these kind of games. I'm not gonna lie, I still got it. Like I was playing and I was doing really well. I'm like, yeah, see, I'm doing great. But they just I think it's good for players to take breaks from games even if they play them
Yes.
consistently. um
Yes, I agree.
that
I
I
agree
believe is what
100%.
happens with a lot of COD players, is that they've played every single COD for years and years and years and years, and then they're like, well, this is no different. I'm like, then take a break. You don't need to buy the next game. Wait a moment, go see what they're doing somewhere else. Like, check if it's Overwatch or Warframe or wherever, and then come back to it after a year or two and see if you're
Exactly.
the,
By the way, I'm just sending my viewers over to you, so don't mind me.
oh no, you're all good. I appreciate it. And that is one of those things that I don't think, I wish more players would do. If you take a break from the games that you love, I did to do this with Madden. I'm a big sports fan. I love football, but I could not deal with the Madden games anymore. I just could not do it. And so eventually I just got to the point where I was like, nah, we're going to change this. We're going to try, we haven't played a football for a while. Eventually the college football games came back through, and I've been happy about those. But it's good to take a break from video games that you play a lot, because if you don't, then you get
You're
into
gonna
the,
get that burnout, yeah.
that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. I'm like, I know there's a word for it. What is,
Yeah, so that was me when I was playing Inquisition this recent run because I was trying to get the platinum trophy, and I started getting burnt out because it was just not what I wanted to do. I wanted to play something else. I wanted, to move on with my life. But I needed to get that platinum trophy. I built up this entire series for that. And
right.
it just wasn't there for me anymore. So I kind of just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna finish the main storyline and then just be done. Because I'm a completionist. So when I
Okay.
play games that have a lot of quests in it or like that's open world, I have to go through everything and like collect all the chests, collect, all the quests, complete everything. And I was just like, I can't do it this time. I want to move on with my life. I was feeling that burnout. And same thing with Repo. I felt a lot of burnout from playing Repo because I was playing Repo almost every single night,
Mhm.
every week. It was very, very taxing. You have to give yourself a break. Same thing with like another perfect example. I use my husband as an example a lot sometimes because he is one of my favorite streamers, and I'm not just saying that because he's my husband. He really is. He was playing Hollow Knight, and there was a time where it was just getting really frustrating because that game is frustrating. I've tried to play it myself where I would play and I would die, and then you got to start all the way back in the beginning from where you originally were, and then you go back in, and then you die, and then you got to. It's just a constant like never-ending cycle of you dying, starting back at your last save point,
Right.
going back, trying to win, and you're so close, and then you die, and then you have to go all the way back again, and it's just it's so frustrating. So you really do have to take a break from that, or else you're not going to enjoy what you're doing. And the same thing with streaming. If you are feeling burnt out from streaming because you're streaming every day and people aren't viewing and nobody's chatting, but you really just think that, you know, this 5-hour stream is what's going to get you there. If you're feeling burnt out, it's going to be noticeable. It's going to show in the quality of your stream, and if you're not in it, neither will your viewers.
No.
And that's whether it's in the game that you're playing, it's in, you know, whatever you're streaming. If you're not in it, it's going to be very noticeable, and you have to be able to tell yourself it's okay to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think on to add on to that as well, not only like when people go and they think like, you know, I'm gonna do this 3 hours, 4 hours, build yourself up to those hours because you will
Yes.
not realize how long it actually feels. I mean, I can't game nearly as long as I used to be able to, but like even I game for like an hour or two and I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Yes.
I had to build myself up to get to even just the 2 hours. Especially because when you're talking, you're conversing with people all the time in the chats.
Right.
It's tasking. It is draining. Like
It is very mentally draining and emotionally draining as well, because you are literally, what you're doing is you are giving yourself and your energy to people, and it takes a lot. It really does take a lot out of you. There's not been one streamer that I've talked to who hasn't felt some type of burnout or some type of way. Like, as a matter of fact, I was just talking to a friend of mine who's also a streamer, and you know, he's already admitted, you know, I don't put as much effort into streaming as I probably should, and I think if he did, he'd be well past me right now. But you know, he was telling me that he's going to be probably pulling the plug on streaming for a bit, you know, because of that burnout and, you know, just personal things. It is okay to be human and have a personal day. You need it, or you're
hmm
not going to be able to do this. In the end, streaming is a job. It
yes.
is a job, and you want to have a work life balance. If you spend every single day streaming 10 hours, 15 hours a day, or if you decide I'm going to take, you know, I'm going to do 2 hours here and stream, come back later, do 2 hours, or you are literally putting yourself in a job.
hmm
And remember, you're making maybe minimum wage at the most as an affiliate. If you are if you are not getting a whole bunch of bits and subs and tips, you are making at most minimum wage as an affiliate. So if you are giving yourself 10 hours to the grind in streaming and you're not giving yourself that time back, you have to really ask yourself, why are you doing it? Are you doing it for the money? Are you
hmm
doing it for your viewers? If you don't have viewers in your stream, and you're dedicating 10 to 15 hours of your time in the stream, you're hurting yourself more than you are elevating yourself. And you have to give yourself those breaks, work yourself up to it, like you said, because if you don't, you're going to be hurting your stats more than you think. You want to start out small and gradually work your way up there. I personally will only do really big, long streams if it's an event or if I'm co-streaming with other people, because I know that the viewers are going to be there. And
hmm
if I don't think that viewers are going to be there, you're not going to see me do a 12-hour stream. It's going to hurt me more than anything. And then physically and mentally, I'm sitting in this chair for 10 to 12 hours. We were just talking about uh uh Kai. He sits in his chair all day. He's not moving. That's a
hmm
lot on your body, especially if you are someone who has a full-time job before then. You are putting a lot of strain on your body, both mentally and physically, just by streaming. So if you're going to be doing those long streams, you got to remember you're treating that as a job.
Right.
And at a regular job, you're going to give yourself a work life balance. You're going to take off when you want to take off. You're going to call out when you're not feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do the same thing with streaming. If you feel that you have to be in a stream 24/7, even when you don't have viewers, you're not giving yourself a chance to be authentic, to have a healthy life balance. You're telling everybody it's okay to work yourself into the ground, essentially.
And if you're
And
not, the thing
yeah,
interesting too is I find that there's a lot of people who don't, they also don't interact when they're live.
yes,
So like when I'm not streaming, I am in other lives, just
yes,
maybe watching. Like I don't know, I jumped into yours and I start, I start talking or something like that, or I go to a mutuals live and I'm just like, just go support him, just to go see what's
yep,
up. Um, I'm always you're always doing something, and
yes,
like I think honestly I find that even a little bit more enjoyable. Um, to just go and see someone else's stream and say, okay, cool, like that. For example, one of my mutuals has a specific way that he did his format. And I was like,
mm-hmm.
oh, that's way cleaner than how I did it. So I kind of
Right.
I kind of readjusted it. Or like I go in there to just go see, see what's up. Um, like I sometimes it's good just to have someone else do it. So I don't gotta be the one to do it.
Right. And
Um,
it's crazy that you say that. Networking, when I talk to bigger streamers, or at least bigger than I am, um, and when I talk to people who've made partner, the biggest thing that they always talk about is networking is probably like 60%, 70% of the job.
mhm.
People think going in and dropping a lurk is, supporting. It's really not. You have to really go in and engage. And that's why I don't get butthurt about people not, like, I try not to get butthurt. Let me rephrase that. I try not to get butthurt about people being in my stream because I work a full-time job in the morning and I can't be in people's lives when I'm at work. So from 7:30 to 6:30, I am literally in a real life situation where I cannot be present. And then I have maybe an hour or two in between to spend time with my husband. And then I go into streaming. So I have very little time to support as much as I can. So all my support comes in the form of like co-streaming or collabing with people, and I'll tell all my followers, hey, go and follow them. That's how I can support. But if you're streaming and you're not going into other people's streams and integrating with them and talking with them, or at least following them on social media, at the very least, you will not get the same return. Um, I can look at my stream elements and see who has been supporting my channel.
Mhm.
Someone who claims that they've been there since day one, I can tell that that's a lie because they're really, really low on my leaderboard.
Right.
Whereas someone who is my follower, I know that they're genuinely part of my community because I will see them in other people's lives. I'll see them talking to people that I support. I will see them. As a matter of fact, like Shiny, in your chat, Shiny and Tiana, perfect examples. If I say, hey, go see this person, go support this person, they are there. They will
Mhm.
support, and they do that, and they don't ask for very much in return. They're streamers themselves. They don't ask for very much in return, but they support so heavily other people. And that's these are the type of streamers that once they do hit big, they're gonna already have that support. If you're just
Mhm.
going to support somebody because you think that they're gonna throw subs at you, or you think a lurk is gonna be enough, you're not gonna get the same return that you think that you're getting when you go in and expect everybody else to support you. If you're just going in and dropping a lurk, it's not that's not supporting. Or if you're just going in to say hi and then you disappear, that's not engaging. So you have to be very engaging to build the kind of community and the kind of authentic relationship with other streamers that you want. You got to remember, everybody on Twitch is for the most part a streamer. If they're not
Exactly.
streaming, they're already part of somebody else's community. You got to give a reason for those people to be in your stream. And that's the biggest thing, is networking. Like I said, is probably 60 to 70% of it. If you can't be there to support their lives, at least support their channel in some way, shape, or form. Promote them as much as you can, you know talk about them and what they're about. There's one streamer, Ari Summer. I love her channel, and I used to be in there every day. I can't anymore, but I will always talk about her. I will always reference her because she's given me a lot of advice, and is one of the reasons why I've changed some of the things that I did with my stream, and I think it's worked for the better. But she gave me a good bit of advice. She doesn't follow everybody. She only follows people that she knows, um that she can talk about. So like she can look at her followers list and say, this is this person and this is what they do. This is Afrofish OG and he has a podcast. If you are just following people willy-nilly that you know that you're never going to watch, you're not really building a community. You're not helping them or yourself. You're just building fluff. They don't know who you are and you don't know who they are.
Exactly. And interestingly enough, like I know for myself when it comes to it, I go in and I'm gonna start saying something about the game that you're playing, about
Yep.
you're playing, or even if like, hey, your volume's a little loud. Because sometimes that's one of the things I wish. I'm telling people like, hey, if my volume's loud or you can't hear me, please let me know.
Yep.
So I don't do this for over an hour, and I realize that you guys can barely understand me. Like,
Yes.
so like if I see someone that I know who's in there, I've been in one of the lives. I've been in all different kinds of lives. Um, it was a more of a debate live when it came to like, it was like a feminist live. And
Mm-hmm.
um, I got a shout out from another person that I'm a mutual with, because we talk about stuff outside of it. My last
Right.
my last podcast I did was with an author.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that. I saw that
Yeah,
on your TikTok.
it was great. I loved it. Fantastic. She's amazing. And so like, it was really, really, it's cool to get that branch out into different avenues. And like you mentioned too, if you just keep yourself into a niche thing, it's not fun. Like after a while,
Yeah.
you need to branch. One of the funniest ones I do on my TikTok every once in a while. I'm a trading card game player, so like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna talk
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh. So I put a post up about talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm like, if you guys want to talk about it, sure, let me know. You know, I did one. I'm going to do a live about food, because I'm doing a live about food where the whole thing is like, yo, what food are better than burger? I'm gonna just dump on Burger King the entire thing. Like that's my whole life, is just dumping on
Yes.
live. I don't know. I'll probably get some like cease and desist order from them.
You know what's crazy? I do normally every stream I will have what I call eats with Eris. And just because I work and I get home so late and then I start streaming, I don't usually have time to eat dinner like a normal person would, like at 6:30. They're already starting 6:30, 7 o'clock. They're already starting to eat supper. I don't do that. So I eat my food with my community. And
Okay.
now it's a thing where everybody's like, hey, what are you eating today? Like if you integrate stuff like that involve your community, if you ask them about stuff like uh for example, you were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. I want to say it was like maybe a few weeks ago, I was playing the Yu-Gi-Oh TCG game.
Oh, Master Duel.
Yes, yes, yes. I just got I have it on Steam. I played it once on a stream. It was probably the most fun I've had in
That's
a
awesome.
long time in a co-stream with people. It was people I've never streamed with. They invited me to play Yu-Gi-Oh. We had a few matches. It was so much fun. One of my actually the original follower that I've had um joined in and played with us. It was so much fun to experience that, and then I got to show people my Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I still have. I still have like a whole bag of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So talking about those things and changing it up every once in a while, that's fun to me. I think that's really fun.
Oh yeah.
um there was something I was going to say regarding Oh, community. When you're building a community and you're trying to help, one thing that I've learned. So I go to in a lot of people's streams, and like I mentioned earlier, everybody that is in your stream, majority of them are going to be streamers themselves.
Mhm.
So I've seen a lot of people who are not a fan of like self promoting. Um, I used to be that way, but then after talking with Ari Summer, I decided I changed that a little bit. Now my channel is self promo friendly. And what that means is if I have a a person like, say, Shiny or Tiana or even you, if you came in and said, hey, I'm about to go live, but I just want you to know, I'm here, I'm talking with you. If I know that you are constantly a continuous like engager in my community, but you're about to go live, I want to support that. I want that way I know, hey, if I'm done, I can read out to this person. I want to that's how I support my people is
that makes sense.
Allowing that. And I understand why some people don't like self-promoting because it feels like you're pulling viewers away. But if they're part of your community and you all share, your people are going to be there regardless.
Right.
If you show that you support them and you allow them to be uncensored, then they'll feel more comfortable with you. They will be more open and sharing with you, in my opinion. Some people may not agree with that, but I feel like I've been able to maintain and retain loyal viewers. Maybe not, hundreds of viewers, but I at least have loyal viewers who I consider family because I know that they will be there regardless if they're talking or not. I know that they're there and they'll come in, and if they have to lurk, they'll refresh it, but then they'll come in again and they'll be there the entire time, or at least 90% of the time that I'm streaming. So yeah, if they're going to stream, I want to support them in any way that I can. I want people to know, hey, these people are in fact streamers, because again, we're on Twitch. 90% of the people that are viewing you are also going to be streamers.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think it's a great way to support them if you have no other way to support them.
No, I 100% agree. And I think like for me, like, cause I'm over on the TikTok side a lot more than I am on Twitch.
I don't know how you do it. TikTok I get so nervous with TikTok.
It feels like it's because their rules change, but they don't tell anybody. Like,
so like, my first time going live on TikTok, I was seeing people go in, and I was saying hello to everybody, and then all you see is people leaving. That's a great thing I love about Twitch. If I'm hiding my viewers, I don't see who's leaving, who's joining, or nothing. But with TikTok, I'm just like, I see people come in, I'm like, oh, excited, people are here, and then they leave, and I'm like, oh, they're gone. So you're just kind of like staring, and like it's very hard to like come out of that shell and like talk. So now if I ever do stream on TikTok, I try to do like where I'm gaming, because at least I'm doing something. I don't know how, like, when I was watching your live earlier, I was just like, man, this is great stuff to talk about. Like, I was like, I don't know how I was just watching your number, like your likes and everything go up, and like your viewers go up, and I was like, man, I need to take it like a tip or two from him, because TikTok live is a whole nother beast compared to Twitch live.
It is. What I love about it, because like especially if it's people that I know, like there's people like Pixie that absolutely adore. Pixie's amazing. Like there's people that come in all the time, and I'm like, especially if I know who you are, I like, one of my favorite things to say is like, I know you ain't coming into my live and not leaving some sort of follow or letting me know you're not even gonna say hi to me. That's like walking into my house, not even saying hi and leaving. Like, you don't do that.
I think when I went on live on TikTok the other day when you first came in, there was someone. I don't do Discord as much as I used to. Like, I'm in the now. Like I get very overstimulated. I have like I believe it or not, I actually have social anxiety when it comes to like people. So when I went in, and I saw somebody that I knew from Discord pop in, they weren't going to say anything. And I was like, oh, hey, I see you. And they're like, oh my God, you were so fast. And I was like, I felt bad because I felt like they were obligated to stay at that point because I called them out on it.
And that's why I like doing that too, because one, it gets the people engaged, or I'll even say like, they're like a name that comes through and I'm like, yeah, I don't even know how you even get that name. Like, how do you even think of that? Like, some of the names you just sit there and you're like, that's okay. Like, and so like I get people to come in, and like I said, the one that I had earlier where the guy was just going back and forth on me on my opinion on Halo. I'm just like, bro, like it's fine. I like 4, 5, and 6 of Halo. I like them. I don't know why they're not better. And I'm like, bro,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've maybe played 5 minutes of Halo in the entirety that the Halo game, and it's not because it's a bad game. I've never really played it. And
No, and that's fair. And now it's coming to PlayStation. So like, and so like when I'm watching this guy go back and forth with me on that, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, bro, who hurt you? Like
oh man, I've been fortunate to not have any hecklers in my stream, and I think if I did, I would get very anxious and very, because I've had a history of people harassing me and bullying me,
I'm sorry to hear that.
on the internet, and I'm already like self-conscious as is, so I I was very hesitant to become a streamer. And then I just finally decided to, to
See,
take that dive.
I would never
And
have known that you had the social anxiety. I never would have known.
yeah,
Like
I mask. So I work in customer service, so I have to mask a lot. But
that's fair.
believe it or not, I have phone anxiety. And then it's paired with like FOMO. So like I have my phone on silent purposely because all the notifications that go off, and then on top of that, hearing an office phone ring, it literally just drives my anxiety up the wall. It's like, oh my god, I like it. It's so overstimulating for me. So I have to turn everything down. But then I get FOMO because I'm like, oh my god, I'm missing out on everything. I'm missing out on everything. Like this. So whole point of bringing that up, I'm very grateful to not have had hecklers in my streams because I think I would probably break down and cry. Like it's like, or I would have like just such a bad like a mental episode. Like it's so hard. So I don't know if I could handle that. And I think that's another reason
True.
why I get so worried about TikTok Live is because if I go on, I just you never know who's gonna pop in.
No, and that's why like when I get people coming in that are like one point I did have people who come in who are like they would be like the anti woke crowd. They don't come in nearly as much anymore. They really do not. One of the things I've always said, if you're gonna claim something, you better prove it.
Yep.
And so if you can't prove it, then I don't personally, I do not care what you're going to say. And
Yeah.
so like,
No,
it's
sorry.
just,
I didn't mean to interrupt
no,
you.
you good. And so like when it comes down to like the way that when people come in and people act and stuff, you know, I'm fine. Like if you want to go back and forth, we can go back and forth. Like we can go back and forth all you want. Eventually, here's the thing. I used to let people up a lot, and I kind of don't nearly as much now because I noticed that my
Yeah.
views would go down because people would just sit there and they'd monologue, and eventually I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. Not to be mean, your voice is grating. I don't care. Like so what would happen is like I would just let people and they would just keep going back and forth. Eventually you're going to get sick of typing. Like so,
Right. See,
it don't matter to me. You're also boosting my engagement. Like I'm going to be honest with
exactly.
you.
The more you talk, the more engagement you're getting for this streamer. So in the Dragon Age community, Solus is not a very like I think Solus is more liked than Anders is, and
That's
Anders
the
was
bald guy, right?
he's a bald guy. Anders was one of the I don't want to call it an antagonist, but he was one of the problem childs in Dragon Age 2, and he was very disliked for a lot of things that he did in the game. Solus is, I think, right under him, in my opinion, or maybe above him. I don't know, but I get so much heat, like not directly to me, but like just being a Solus fan, I get so much heat from people in the Dragon Age community that just hate this character so much that they team up. It's kind of like okay, I don't know how well you know the BG3 community. Um,
Not a whole lot.
so in the BG3 community, Astarian fans
How do you
get
hate Astarian?
a lot of people give a lot of a lot of flack towards the Astarian fans because of how unhinged or how toxic they can be, and it's kind of the same way with Solus fans. A lot of us get flack for being a Solus fan because he's who he is without giving a whole lot of spoilers, but
Right.
it's very hard to fit in when you know that you're already disliked for being a fan of somebody. And I think that's one of the toxic things about being a gamer in a community is that if you're a gamer in a community of people who have a dislike and you're a fan of that that number one dislike that they have, you risk two things. You risk them heckling you in your streams, and giving you problems, which if if you're ready for it, you can go back and forth and have those educational and intellectual conversations and debates, or you can be completely caught unawares and you can just kind of have a mental freak out like I probably would. So it's one of those things that you risk when you go in. It's the same thing as oh, what's another game I'm trying to think of? There's so many games out there, but it's mostly I found in like RPG games where you have those people who are just going to rag on you
Oh yeah,
for liking specific things or
that's what I got with
playing as a
Vilgar.
certain thing.
I got it with Vilgar when I first started. I was like, dude, I'm actually having fun with this game. How do you like this game? Because I'm playing it and I enjoy it. Like it's
Yeah,
just cut and dry.
exactly.
Well, what do you enjoy about it? So I started giving it. I can't believe you enjoy this. I can't believe you made your whole identity coming into my live into being like, oh, like I'm gonna all of a sudden agree with you. So get some better negotiating skills, my guy.
Yeah,
So,
honestly, so when Velgard first came out, like I was dead set on loving Velgard regardless, and I do love Velgard regardless. I do have my qualms about it,
of
and that's
course.
just because I myself had my own expectations, and there are things from a
Who's your favorite
unbiased
character in
perspective.
Veilguard?
Huh? What's that?
Not Solus. Not Solus. But who's your favorite character in Veilguard?
Oh, who is my favorite character in Velgard? Oh my god, that's so hard. That is a very hard thing to say other than Solus. I would probably have to say Manfred.
That's fair. I really like Harding.
Harding is
Like,
great. I was caught surprised when they revealed Harding to be a companion for Velgard. I was happy about it, but I
was
was
she not
caught
in?
surprised.
She was uh
She was in
Inquisition.
Inquisition. She was a everybody loved her in Inquisition because she was like your guy in the chair, but not really.
Mm.
You would go to Harding for whenever you went into a new area, and you can have a dialogue with Harding when you entered a new area, and you could flirt with Harding when you entered a new area. But it wasn't like she wasn't a companion. She was like the only um, NPC that you would see away from your home base that you could actually talk to, and I think
That's
that
fair.
a lot of people really like that. But Manfred is probably my favorite other than Solus, and then you have thank you. And then you have Nev is great.
I like Nev.
A lot of people give Nev flack because they feel like she is a bit monotone, or they don't understand like a lot of people gave the voice actor a lot of problems because they felt that she was very like I said, monotone. She didn't have a lot of emotion, but if you think about it, she's very noir detective,
Yeah.
which I loved about her. And if you actually listen to the subtle inflections in her tone, you could tell that she's flirting with you or she's being sarcastic with you. You could tell that her self-preserved demeanor is slightly shooketh, if you will, because something has happened in the game. Lucanus was another favorite of mine. I'm still hurt because my first playthrough with Lucanus, I tried to romance him, and at the time they had a bug that was fixed where if you did something, it locked you out of his romance, but you didn't know that in the very beginning of the game
Oh
release.
no.
Yeah, you didn't know that.
Luke Cannon. He's the one with the Griffin, right?
He's no Lucan. So Lucanus is the one
Or he's
where
the
he has the
okay,
demon
yes, he's
spirit,
the isn't he the
mage
Ventari?
killer.
Okay, yeah, I do like him. I think he's cool. He's smooth. Like he's
Yeah,
just
he's very smooth. He's very smooth. I love that little coffee scene that they had with them. Davern was probably my biggest surprise uh character. I did not think that I was gonna like him before the game released. He just felt very vanilla. He felt very Prince Charming. He felt very I don't know. I thought I wasn't gonna like him, but surprisingly, he is probably one of my favorite characters. If you're
yeah.
playing Velgard and you are always wondering who has the best like dialogue banter, because in every Velgard game they have a banter between the companions. I feel that Tosh and Lucanus have some of the best banter.
Okay.
Because so slight spoiler, just Tosh, when they were a little girl, they wanted to be a crow because they thought crows were superheroes, if you will.
I mean, yeah, sure. That's
Yeah,
fair. That's
so
fair.
they have this conversation between Tosh and Lucanus about, what it's like to be a crow. And I thought that was that was probably a very wholesome moment, and then you have if you run around with Nev and Lucanus, you hear Nev flirting with Lucanus and it just going over his head and him not really like realizing what's going on.
And that's awesome. I love that. And I think
Yeah.
Tosh was one that the more I did I'm doing her quest. I just did it where she prepared dinner, but I don't think I still got to keep going with it. But
Yeah, the whole Velgard complaint, a lot of it stemmed from Tasha's character, and they are a great character in my opinion, and I think they are deeply misunderstood. So a lot of people, the complaints that they had with the character was that they felt too young. And then outside of the whole DEI, like everybody had a problem with like DEI being in the game, but
yeah, they can shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But the biggest problem, in my opinion, that a lot of people had outside of that was the fact that they felt really modern, and it's because Tasha as a character is very young. Like we're talking like really early 20s, like maybe just going into their 20s. So in Inquisition, you had Sarah, who was the youngest, and she was kind of loud and obnoxious, and some people can even go as far as to say whiny. And it's because she was very young. She was full of anger. She had a lot of real okay, the way that I can liken it to is younger generation IRL carry a lot of like anger and a lot of repressed feelings and emotions for how the world is. That was Sarah. Tosh
Okay.
is very much, I wouldn't say that she's got a lot of repressed, they got a lot of repressed anger. It's that they are just really like someone in this current generation. They have different type of lingo compared to what all the adults have. They talk different, they do things differently, they think differently, and that's
Yeah.
that was a huge problem with a lot of original fans in the community, was that their dialogue didn't feel authentic to the world. And I think that was a very unfair assessment, because if you remove that, Tasha's character and their storyline, I think, was actually really well done.
And I like, as someone who's very new when it comes to Dragon Age, and watching Tasha's character in like, from the early showing of the dinner scene, right, where they first were like, oh my gosh, but there's so much that leads to it. And it makes sense because Tasha's mother very muchly is a person set in her old ways.
Yes,
And as a
yes.
person who I work with seniors. So like I see that where Tasha's mom she's really not trying to be a bad person, but she is so tone deaf to what Tosh actually needs that
Yes.
she's worried about herself than Tosh and how it would look on her than Tosh, which
Yep.
is really true, especially like I said, if you work with boomers and Gen X's. I work with silent generation, I've worked with boomers, I've worked, what I mean? I work with that clientele, and that is something about them. Appearance is everything.
Yes, yes.
And so when Tosh is a fire breather, which is really fucking cool, like that, I believe that's rare.
Yep, it
And
is.
so, but it's like, nope, keep that down. And like, okay, well, I just want to be myself. Nope, keep that down. And eventually, it's going to come to a point where you're going to boil over. And this made sense, Now, I just had a back and forth between Tosh and, is it Emmerich? Okay, and I liked their little bit. Yes, Tosh is not the greatest when it comes to subtlety.
No, no.
I love it. Tosh kind of reminds me of Drax a little bit, where there's just a lack of subtlety, so there comes this bluntness.
Yes.
And when they're talking to Emmerich about like, yo, you are taking people from the dead. What is wrong with you? And like, he's like, okay, well, none of your business. So I don't know what the problem is, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So the great thing that I love about Tosh, and you really touched up on a really great point about Tosh. Tosh is the perfect epitome of a multiracial or multicultural child. Um, growing up in so Tosh, for those of you watching who are not familiar with the Dragon Age series, is Kunari. Kunari belong to a culture of people who are very set in their own ways. They have a very, I wouldn't say well, okay, yeah, I would call it a strict code of conduct. They have to follow certain things. They follow the Kun, and it's just to outsiders, it's very radical, but to them, it's very it makes a lot of sense because everything has a place and an order. Everything fits in a certain place and an order. And when Tasha's mother went from that to where they currently are, which the place that they currently are in is a very free place, a very open place. They're pirates. A lot of them are either pirates or they're seafarers, or they're very flexible in their nature and in their culture because that's kind of how it is in cultures that are by the ocean. They're very open and they're very free. So going from a very strict code of conduct to a very open and very explorative type of culture, it's difficult to balance both or to choose one over the other. You have to understand that as a child growing up in that kind of environment, you can't force them to be one way or another because all they know is both, and they try their best to integrate both into their life because that's their identity. They have culture, but at the same time they have that openness to explore. And so when you were talking about Tasha's mother being very set in her ways, it's very indicative of what it's like to be a child in a multicultural or multi ethnic family. It's very, very, very difficult. And I feel like that connection can make Tasha a little more relatable, more than what, what they prefer their pronouns to be or how they talk. If you really dig deep into their actual, if you dig deep into their actual, story and what they're going through, it's very, very much a deep story, in my opinion. And the same thing with Lucanus. A lot of people felt like Lucanus was, very like too reserved for what they thought. You hear his voice and you think, oh, he's gonna be this Puss in Boots character, or he's gonna be very like open and romantic and just very flamboyant. But he's very reserved. He is very, very reserved, and you didn't think that you were gonna have that, and and then you have, Nev, who's, like I said, very detective noir. And you have Harding, who is a worrywart, which is surprising for me because Harding in Inquisition seemed a little more composed. And then you get Harding now. And granted, with everything going on with Harding, you can see why. But she's a bit more of a worrywart than I expected.
I
And
mean, once you
honestly,
actually get
it
out
makes her
into the
very
field,
wholesome.
it reminds me of if you ever played Sly Cooper?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh, good. And you have a PlayStation, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So but no, so one of the characters in there, Bentley the Turtle, he is like your brains kind of guy. The one that's it. But when you in the second game, he gets to actually go out in the field. And the first time he's in the field, you can hear the apprehension and like, oh my God, I need to do this. I'm fine. And that's what reminds me of Harding, from what you said, when she's kind of just in the room controlling everything to being in the field and then finding out that you can do magic on top of that.
Yep.
Now I'm like, okay, now I was like, I thought I had to just worry about, the blight. Now I got to worry about the blight and my powers. And so I think that's really cool. The only one that I think that I don't think about as much, and that's is it Bellavia? No.
Bellara?
Yeah, Bellara. I'm terrible at names.
No, you're fine.
She's the only, I like her. Like I do like her. She is, she reminds me of the much more of the I'm so excited to explore and find, you
Yes.
know, and find new stuff. And I love that about her. I like, even though I haven't delved deep enough yet into her story, I don't feel like, and she doesn't hit me the same where it's just like, okay, she's kind of cool, but every time I bring her along, I just find her enjoyable.
Yeah.
um she's just excited to find like whatever like new artifacts are around, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and she's actually pretty strong, so like
Yeah.
it's pretty
See,
strong to have.
that's what I really love about the Dragon Age series. There is somebody for everybody. As a gamer, that's so important to me because, like, okay, before the game even came out, I didn't know who I was going to play as. Like, everybody was creating their character, and I didn't know what I was going to do because I like to create a character for every background in the games.
Mm.
And when I found out that there were 6 factions, there were 3 different type of uh sorry, not three. Yeah, different type of classes and 4 different species. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to make a character for every single one of these factions. So I think I made what 18 rooks, and I've played. Right now, I did my first playthrough. I'm doing the worst ending you could possibly get right now, and I think there's just always something for somebody in these games. Like Balara, you you make a great point. A lot of people can't connect with Balara because she either seems too all over the place, or she is, she people don't really understand her energy and why she's all over the place. And then you have the people who are on the spectrum who claim her wholeheartedly because she was written with uh being on the spectrum in mind,
Which is
because
fair.
her writer is also on the spectrum. And so you can see hints of ADHD in there. You could see some hints of autism possibly there. And that made her very relatable for that group of people because she's understandable to them. They people relate to her. Same
Mhm.
thing with like Davrin. Davrin, if you when I first saw Davrin, I thought he was going to be very much a man's man, like, let me do everything kind of thing, and I was kind of apprehensive to that. But then I saw that how well he was willing to grow. He was very much he cared for his animals, his
Oh my god, his Griffin. Oh
yeah,
my god.
his griffin was like his son. And then you had his adoptive father storyline, just sorry for spoilers, just
No, yeah, he good.
but he has so much more in depth to him, and he takes honor with great pride. He enjoys everything about being a Grey Warden.
Mm.
And you could tell by how well he carries himself in being a Grey Warden, and I thought that was very likable in Inquisition. And I hope you do get to go back to Inquisition because Inquisition, the characters were written so beautifully. You had the woman warrior who masked being very strong, but deep down inside she's a romantic at heart, and she gets flustered really easily. And then you have Solus, who is, he comes off as very arrogant, but in reality he's, who he is. And then you have Blackwall, who is someone he's not. And what I mean by that is he tries to be someone he's not, and he tries to do it very well. um and it makes him a very complex character. And
Right.
so there's so many different writing. The writers of the Dragon Age series did so well in creating the world of Thetis. And when it came to Velgard, it broke my heart to see how much was actually taken away from the game because of, time constraints, because of all the strikes that were going on, because, big company brother decided to put their hands in the project. uh,
Right. Mm.
Unfortunately, what happened, I think, was that Velgard and Mass Effect are both in part of the same company, right?
Yeah, BioWare.
And Mass Effect has a bigger. I don't know if they have a bigger community than Dragon Age does, but they definitely put a lot more priority into Mass Effect than they do Dragon Age. So a lot of things that you saw in Velgard, a lot of people likened to Mass Effect, and all of the people who were let go of Velgard moved over to Mass Effect to work on Mass Effect projects. So Mass Effect definitely during that time was a big part of the project. Like this is all stuff that you can fact check. Like this is all stuff that they
Right.
talked
Well,
about
and
and
during
everything.
that
Yeah.
time too, like
Yeah.
I believe it's Andromeda was the one who was out
Yeah.
during a couple of those, like right before, I think
Yep.
Andromeda came out before Inquisition.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because it was 07 was the original Mass Effect, and then it was 2009, and I believe in between there was 1 and 2, Origins and 2. So, and that's the thing, like I because I love Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I see a lot of.
I've never played. I've never
Oh,
played.
I
Oh my
love them
god.
so much. If you're gonna play it, play as Femship. Jennifer Hale does the voice
Uh-huh.
Of female shepherd, and she's just like amazing in like everything she does.
I think one of the and Asa Salnin in your chat, she's actually my best friend. I met her in a Dragon Age community. She could probably tell me this. But the one of the voice actors in Velgard is actually from Mass Effect, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
But yeah, probably. I mean, I'm sure they bounce quite a bit. And the one thing I loved was one of my favorite characters in there was Tally. When you made it, like when you were talking about like how the characters sounded young, and that's how she was in the beginning. Tally is a Quarian. For those who don't know, she's a Quarian, which is a race that lost their homeworld to this alien machine called the machine race called the Geth. And so they have to wear these masks and keep themselves pretty much sealed up because their immune systems are not strong enough. And she's on what is called a pilgrimage, which when you hit a certain age, you pretty much go find something that's going to be useful to their race to bring back. And so
I love that.
When you first meet her, she's on this pilgrimage, and like she's kind of like, I want to say high strung, but you can tell I'm here to do my job and kind of like up front and stuff like that. But like she's not a bad person. And it's not until the second one where you actually get the romance her, where you do just you do feel, hey, what's up, cat? Did you
are you seeing my cat?
Yeah, it's on the tail. My ADHD kicked in right there. But like but then you do in the second one, you notice when she kind of talks, she's already commanding her own crew and stuff, and she does and I love BioWare is just really good at it. Like they're good where you can learn writing 101 on like
how to write
characters that are not only just complex but also just enjoyable and likable from like all different aspects that we were like, as we were saying with like Dragon Age Veilguard. The Jennifer Hale is Krem.
Krem. So in Inquisition, there's a character named Krem. We call it Krem. Krem. Creme de la creme. What is that food? Yeah. They play a very like the sidekick to one of your companions, if you will.
Oh, cool. No, and that's awesome. I think that's always cool to see like other people like other voice actors be in different
games.
It's kind of fun.
Like okay, one of my favorite characters in the Dragon Age series is Fenris, and his voice actor is Gideon Emery, and he's in everything. He's in, if I'm not mistaken, he was in Tekken. He was in Call of Duty. He's in Dragon Age. He's in so many things. He was in Teen Wolf. Gideon Emery is probably one of my favorite voice actors out there. He does great work. And then you have Gareth David Lloyd, who plays as Solus. He's been in a few movies. He's in theater as well, and I don't know if he's been in other games, but I do know that he does a lot of acting, and it's just great what these voice actors are doing. It's kind of like when you look at anime. Me and my husband will watch anime, and we can immediately pick out Chris Sabbath.
Oh yeah, he's
he's literally in everything.
he is, and it's funny because whenever he plays, like I'm like he plays, it's either Vegeta or Vegeta like Vegeta mixed with like a little more Piccolo. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
always Vegeta or Piccolo that you hear coming out.
oh yeah, and it's the same with like I was thinking of like Stephen Blum is one that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'm like you either get like Zabuza from Naruto or you get
Uh-huh.
Orochimaru from Naruto. Like there's literally those are the two. And like I was like Stephen Blum is in what was I gonna say? He's Wolverine. He's
Uh-huh.
Wolverine. He was Tank Dempsey in the Call of Duty the Nazi zombie games.
Oh wow.
Um he has been, like I said, he's been Zabuza, he's been it's funny listening to like the Batman Arkham games because he's in those as well. It's just like
Right.
characters. He's one of those people. He's just in everything. Troy Baker's another one too. I believe Troy Baker played Joel in The Last of Us. He also
Oh,
played
okay.
the Joker in Arkham Origins.
Oh.
And
I
so
didn't know that.
yeah, when you hear the difference, and I'm just like, damn, okay. Like he also played I believe Troy Baker played Pain in Naruto. So it was there's a lot of really like it's crazy when you listen to voice actors and
Yeah,
just
it
all
really
the stuff
is.
they're in.
Like okay, so like just to kind of like go back to that, Freddie Prinze Jr. uh plays as the Iron Bull in Inquisition. I had no idea that he was a voice actor for video games. I've always known him as an actor. Like he was the heartthrob in all the early 2000s movies that everybody,
Fred Flintstone, like
he
no,
everybody
is it,
knew.
who's the main dude from the Scooby Doo game? Is it Fred? Yeah, Fred.
Yeah, Fred.
Yeah, Fred. Okay, I thought Fred Flintstone. I'm like, no, that's the wrong one. Like,
Yeah, he played Fred in the Scooby Doo game movies. He played, he was in I Know What You Did Last Summer. He was
yeah,
in She's All the, he was in all these like
he's
heartthrob
a huge Star
spots.
Wars fan too.
Yeah,
By the way,
he was a big fan. Like not a big fan. He was a big big thing like back in like the early 2000s movies. And then I didn't know that he was doing voice acting. And it's crazy to see that like okay, another perfect example of someone I never knew did voice acting for animes or like for video games. Channing Tatum. I had no idea. I had no idea until I watched the Demon Slayer movie.
yep, the
That
Infinity Castle. Where I was like,
Yeah, that was such a good movie.
that was really good.
I was so heartbroken that I couldn't watch it in Japanese, but it's so good. It's so good.
It,
I absolutely love it.
yeah, there's a in this. It's so good. Like the constant the backstories never felt like they were too much. I'm not gonna lie. Leave before you get spoiled. Yeah, I'm not. I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it.
Yeah, we won't spoil nothing.
Yeah, just go watch it. I've been watching like the fights on TikTok. I found them all, and then I downloaded them so that I can watch them. And
yeah, I just recently got the Demon Slayer 2 game.
nice.
I plan to play it. I just haven't broken it out yet. I'm waiting. Tiana, me and Tiana actually started watching the Demon Slayer series right about the same time. I binged watched it on my off time from streaming when I wasn't feeling well. So she's trying to catch up. She's on the last season, so that's why we were telling her to leave. But I I can't wait for her to finish the series so that way I can start playing the Demon Slayer game because I'm very excited to see what it's about. I love those kind of games where like you go from a show to video games because then you can actually feel like you're part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did that with Kakarot. I love what they did with Dragon Ball Z in Kakarot and how open world it is and how you can go around and integrate with the different characters. And I thought that was so well done, and I love the fact that they got the actual voice actors to do the voices for that game.
Oh yeah.
And that's I will forever look for a very good Lord of the Rings game that will put me right into the heart of Middle Earth.
I've heard the Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is getting a remaster.
Is it really?
I heard it was a rumor, but I don't confirm me on that one. But I heard it was a rumor. Yes, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King potentially getting a remaster or like a brand new game or something. And I was like,
oh,
it's so much fun. Speaking of which, though, too, someone said like kind of a fun fact, right? You know how like in Demon Slayer they can't actually see their effect things in the
I didn't
show.
know that. I did
Yes.
not know
So
that.
yeah. So the author said that the effects are not real. Which
Oh,
for some reason doesn't make sense because like there's so many times where like it felt like either lightning broke the ground or something broke the ground.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, so that's just is the ground breaking not real either? But yeah,
That is
apparently that they're not
crazy.
real. And then I thought for a second, and I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Until someone in a video brought it all where they're like, except for one character, and technically that would be Sanemi. Sanemi is wind breathing. So
Right.
if he's actually using his, even if it's not real, he's actually manipulating the wind. So with
That's
his hiss.
crazy.
So technically he should actually be the only one to actually do wind breathing.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm over
the
here like,
effect.
man, all those awesome scenes. I'm
Oh
thinking they're
yeah.
seeing fire and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
they're not
And
seeing it. They're like it's all
maybe,
not real.
maybe conspiracy theory here, fan theory, maybe it's only visible to the demons.
That's what I would have suggested too. That only the demons can see it, which would make a lot of sense to me. Why they're
Yeah.
like, "Yo, it's like flames," or I know you're a water one. Like, okay, cool. Like, otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, it just doesn't really make sense.
I'm
Like,
gonna go ahead and say that that's not canon. Even if it is, I'm gonna say it's not canon.
I
Sorry,
need to
author.
see.
Sorry, author. It's not canon.
I need Rengoku to show me fire. I need like,
Yes.
you
Yes,
know,
exactly.
what
Oh man.
but we'll probably be bouncing. Everyone probably gonna ask one more question here.
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of Demon Slayer, and a couple. I have a couple questions. First,
Okay.
Slayer, if you can choose one breathing style, what would it be?
Oh, out of like the current existing ones,
Yes,
uh, hmm,
and all their effects are added. All their effects are added and everything.
that's a really hard one. I really like I don't know, the water technique seems really cool and everything, but I do feel that the mist breathing style is awesome. I'd have to go with the lightning breathing style. What Zenitsu has. It just seems really OP. It just seems really
Yeah,
OP. The fact that they only gave him technically one, not spoiling nothing. Technically one uh breathing technique, I thought that was so well done because you could see how strong that technique becomes. So
Mhm.
I have to say probably the lightning breathing style because we've not seen any of the other techniques within that breathing style, so you don't exactly know how strong it actually is. So I'd have to say I'd go with that one.
Yeah, that's true. I hmm. I know, like, yeah, Shiny said Mist. I think the Mist was really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
mist was really cool.
like, I feel like, I mean, the one I wouldn't choose obviously is Love Breathing because I would have. I'm not gonna lie, I would have like sliced my leg open so quick. With that sword, like, that would have been it. But I feel like if I had it in myself, it's probably yeah, it'd be either mist breathing or wind breathing. Just
Yeah,
because,
wind breathing seemed really intense too. You know
yeah,
what though? We didn't see a whole lot of what is it? Stone breathing that
yeah, we
Kyome
only see
has.
one move from stone breathing.
You don't ever actually really see that. So I feel like it's kind of also an unfair question to ask because you don't see all the techniques as much as you see with like the water breathing style or
We
the
will though. We will see it, but
yeah. Yeah, I'm
and
excited. I'm
yeah,
excited.
I think it was just like watching Guillaume when he's doing his one stone breathing move, and it's just like he's just straight up. I'm like, bro, if I would have saw that, I'm putting my sword down. Like, I'm done. I don't know why I'm even here.
Right?
Like, why am I here? Like, you can handle it, obviously.
Yeah, the honestly that was very surprising for me, the turn of because I thought Guillaume when I saw Guillaume's backstory, and then I see how he was in the last season of the show, not the movie, but just the show itself, there was more depthness to his character than what I actually thought he would be like. And he definitely surprised me a lot. Gyu, out of all the Hashira, has to be probably my favorite, other than Rengoku. But like Gyu, like there's just something about it. Like every time I try to think of who my favorite Hashira is, I can't think of anybody else but Gyu. Gyu is probably like, yeah.
I love that when he like has Shinobu in the headlock, and she's like, "So what did you actually think was gonna be like happen next?" He's like, "Oh." Like just like he had to think about it for a second.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
she tried to knife him too. Like it was like, she pulled a knife right out of her foot, and I was like, "Whoa, dang!" Like that's supposed to be your buddy there.
Yeah, I thought her yeah, rest in peace, Rengoku. Yeah, we so
the donut Hashira.
Yeah, you know what, man, that I'm still upset about that. When I talk about anything saddest moment in Demon Slayer, that's probably still number one right there. Like I still think about it and I'm like, man, he was like so good and like they took him out too early.
I think was interesting was how they were surprised.
Yeah.
That like he was the one to get taken out. And
Right,
he's
exactly.
what, like fifth or sixth? I think he's like fifth or sixth strongest. Like he's strong, but like I think there's a couple other that are like above him.
Yeah.
But they always say Guillaume and Sanemi were the 1 and 2, and then I think Gyu's right up there.
I do too.
But,
I do too. Oh, so let me ask you this then. What is the saddest demon death for you?
I'm not gonna spoil it. I can't spoil it because I don't want to do that. That's not fair. But
Yeah, fair.
I would say one of them that I really enjoyed, and it was actually the demon with the drums. That could move the house.
Uh-huh.
And when I think it was the demon with the drums, and he had all the stuff, like all the I don't know, the papers or whatever all over.
Yeah.
And Tanjiro is like jumping in. He's purposely missing every single paper so he doesn't touch him, and the demon's just like standing there and just lets himself.
Oh yeah, like
and I'm like, damn,
yeah, because
okay.
he
like,
wrote like the poetry or like the music and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is sad.
And that was like that was really surprising. Because that's also right around the time that you had Zenitsu and Inosuke. Inosuke's great.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too, is I liked Inosuke. He's definitely fun. And Zenitsu did annoy me a lot, like throughout majority.
Oh no.
Yeah, he annoyed me a lot. And then it's interesting because I watched Free Run.
Right.
And I love Free Run. And Stark reminds me of just a better written Zenitsu.
Uh-huh.
And then I saw Zenitsu lock in, and at that point,
right, exactly.
That moment when he's talking to Tanjiro, being like, "Bro, let me do what I got to do," and those eyes that he had, I was like,
you just know.
No, that whole like falling asleep ain't working no more on this guy.
Yeah, no, not at all. See, for me, the saddest demon death has to be the siblings.
I did like Gyutaro and Daki.
Yeah.
Yes, I did like them. That led to probably, I would think that was one of the biggest hype moments, like just in general. And I think I've almost ever seen an anime.
Yeah.
When he sliced her head off and she was like calling for her brother, and he's like, "I'm sorry."
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But yeah, you can't help but feel, and that's what I love about Demon Slayer, is they do a good job with the demons, making you realize
you empathize with them.
Yeah. And I was talking with a guy actually earlier in the podcast and I was like, "Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you." I was like, if I got dropped in Demon Slayer, I'm probably becoming a demon. Like I'm like, I'm 34 years old. Like, I'm 34 years old, out of shape. I ain't being a Hashira anytime soon. Okay. Like, if Koko Shibo shows up and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you some of my blood so you become a demon," slurp, demon time. Like,
see, I think if I were dropped in the world of Demon Slayer, I'd probably be a lot like Tanjiro. Like, I probably wouldn't become a demon, but I would also probably empathize with them and sympathize with them, like, and know that not all of them, because Nezuko aside, you had
Tamio. Is it Tamio?
Yeah. Is that her name? I keep thinking of something else.
I
But
think
you
it's
had, the doctor and
yep,
her assistant, and you just knew that not everybody, and it's such a good way to show that not everybody is bad, not everybody is good. Everybody has their quirks about them. They just are. And
but
he was very
mm,
empathetic to them and very compassionate towards them. And I think that's what really made the show good for me, is the fact that it showed that this is really what it's like to be human. Even if you're a demon, you're still technically human.
right.
You're just living your worst life right now.
Well, and I think that's like, you can use it for a lot of allegories.
Yep.
When people get desperate, they do desperate things, and so
Yes, exactly.
that's why I love Doma so much, because Doma is just not that. Like, his backstory is honestly interesting.
Yeah.
I love his backstory. But like, that's what I love about Doma. Doma just like he is just one. He's a shit talker. He's a rage baiter. Like,
Yeah,
he's
he's
probably
so
he's
I
so
can never
okay with it. Like,
I can never tell if he's being uh like sarcastic, or if he's genuinely like, I want you with me.
oh yeah, what I love is like when he's talking with Akaza,
Yes.
and like he's like, oh, it's just a talk between friends. I mean, he's only like number 3 and I'm number 2, and I'm just like, bro, you just like give it this middle finger, like,
I do also like Akaza as well. Akaza is I love that he still maintained his honor even as a demon.
he just didn't know why.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, he's just like, I just do this stuff, and that's why I'm so excited for the second part, because the face
Yes.
we're getting in the second part, oh my gosh.
I'm
Um,
excited. I'm excited and I'm not prepared at the same time, because I don't want to see my favorite people dying, which it's probably going to happen, because I mean, I like Game of Thrones. I should be used to this kind of stuff, where my favorite characters all start dying off, but I wasn't prepared for it in Demon Slayer, and I know that I'm not going to be prepared for it when I watch the second movie.
that's fair. I mean, and that's what I'm excited for. Like, my thing is always so funny is uh, Urushiki, I think it is, the man who was like inflicted, and the whole manor and his family and everything.
Yeah.
Despite the fact of Muzan having the coldest pull up to a manor ever, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, this dude just straight up sat there and just shit talked Muzan until he died.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I thought. That was actually, that scene was so well done, because Muzan is just like, aren't you like afraid of me, or like, aren't
Muzan's a terrible villain. Like, I love him because he works for this story. Like, he works for the story. I'm all for like villains who are just like, fuck it,
yeah,
I'm evil just because. I love that.
yeah.
But like, Muzan cracks me up because I'm like, this guy is just, you're just sitting there like, bro, how are you guys? You guys follow him because you have to, because oh my gosh, this is the worst person to lead anything. like, imagine I was like, watched one of them, like, hey, Kokoshibo, go to the train. That fight is
Kill the
over.
Michael Jackson, not the Michael Jackson comment.
the Michael Jackson, and I actually like the fact that he had the androgynous look.
Yeah.
Like, when they were like, oh, it's because I think I read something in like one of his lore wise is actually the female form of him is where he typically uses it the most, because he can extract the most information out of it.
Right, and that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
and like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest too. If I were all of a sudden, watching over a kid and they just started mutating into a full grown man, by the time he's done mutating, I'm out of the house. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. When he was playing cosplaying as that kid, I was just like, man, where do you find the time to do all this stuff, man? Aren't you like,
oh
aren't
yeah,
you trying to like
I saw
destroy a whole bunch of
someone
people?
crack up when they were mentioning. I think it was he's talking about Daki, and he's like, "Oh, Daki, like, you're so amazing, blah blah blah. You're so beautiful, and all this other kind of stuff. You've taken out 7 Hashira. Akaza's taken out how many? Akaza, you're trash. Like, just like he just shit talks him, and I'm like, bro, damn, like, tell me you got a favorite. And then I guess
His backstory, Akaza's backstory, is probably one of the I think it's one of the best because it's a true testament about how, like, without giving out any spoilers, it's a true testament about how people who do bad things can try to be good and do succeed at being good, but then are driven past that
Mhm.
line once again. It's kind of like almost like John Wick. John Wick goes and he tries to leave that assassin life behind, and all of a sudden he's living a normal life, and then something pulls him right back. It's very unfortunate because it happens to a lot of people,
Yeah.
not to get too in touch with real life, but that's what happened with people who go through sobriety issues, addictions.
Oh yeah.
They try to be good, and then somebody pulls them right back in, and it's really hard. So it's a true testament. His story was, I think, the realest in terms of human nature that I've seen. Like the siblings was sad because I'm a sibling, and seeing that dynamic between the two of them, I mean, that's a really real raw thing. You say things to your sibling, that are hurtful, and then you and your sibling are on the verge of dying, and now you don't want to die. You don't want, to be
Right.
apart from your sibling, and it's just very heart-wrenching. That's all. The whole thing is heart-wrenching.
It is, like, I mean, especially Gitaro and Daki's, because I mean Daki became a demon and she didn't, that wasn't really her thing. It was actually
Right.
Gitaru who became the demon.
Yeah.
Daki just was gonna die otherwise. So he pretty much, that's also the reason why she was gonna go to heaven and he wasn't.
Right.
But she would rather go with him
Yeah, because
than
that's all
be
she
away.
knew.
Yeah, and so it made sense that Daki would go with him, but like at the same time, I love the fact that Daki was kind of just immature. Also, her ass whooping by fucking Nezuko.
Oh my gosh.
I think none
Nezuko
of us.
was just insane in that season. I was just,
Oh my god, when she she got, when I think everyone like gasped when she got beheaded
yeah.
and then just snapped back, and I was like, oh, so we can do. And there was so many moments like that because I had that too, where his arm got cut off and then just right back, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh you guys are fucked. Like I was like, you like as soon as I watch a demon regrow his arm back in like literally like 2 seconds,
In
I'm
like
like, yeah,
Piccolo
no.
fashion.
Yeah, right. I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, yeah. So, you guys got like any extra of that blood? Like,
Yeah, honestly,
couldn't be me.
there's so many great animes like that out there, and then the same thing with like the games and stuff. There's just so
Mm,
many things out there that can inspire and make, I think, people better gamers because they're investing into a world, they're investing into a fandom, and it's crazy. It's just crazy how many good animes are out there that should be video games, that could be video games, and are never explored, in my opinion. I think recently I found out that One Piece was a TCG game now. I
yes,
know Dragon Ball is now.
yes. I mean, granted, to be fair, we could have just had Jump Force and just got a bunch of DLC, characters. I would have paid for those, God. But it couldn't be me. I'm just saying, like, not like I bought it with all the DLCs and everything, and then just felt really screwed over. Oh, I was so mad. I bought that on 2 different systems. I have it on Xbox and I have it on PlayStation, both all loaded. And I was just like, yo, this. I'm like, I'm gonna say this with the utmost respect. This is some bullshit. Like, so, but yeah, I'm excited. But last thing I'm gonna go to is where
Yeah.
can they find you?
Where can you guys find me? So, guys, I am on TikTok, I am on Twitch, and technically I am on Instagram and YouTube. I just don't utilize it as much as I do TikTok and Twitch. It's Dark Goddess Eris across the board. And yeah, feel free to follow me. I love you guys.
And I mean, I thank you also for being here. This was fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
this was really fun. I didn't know what to expect, and honestly, I'm just glad that it turned out to be having a conversation as if we've been friends for a very long time. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being able to talk about what it's like to actually be a small streamer, trying to make it big, trying to become partner and all that stuff. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun. Chaos Agents, if you're watching, give him a follow.
I
Seriously,
appreciate
on
it.
everything, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. Give him a follow. He does have great content. I was talking about your videos like for the past couple of days. They're really good.
Thank you
So
very
yeah,
much.
definitely give him a follow. And yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, it really was. And so for everyone else too, you can find me over at TikTok, Twitch, Instagram. I started actually posting more of these podcasts up. YouTube is where you'll find most of the podcasts themselves, along with a lot of the clip-its. Same with TikTok. Twitch, I'm on there every once in a while. I'm also on Threads, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I go on there like every like 5 times a week. So yeah, don't bank on it. We do lives most of the time in the morning. I'll be doing a live tomorrow morning, or a stream tomorrow morning. I'm gonna be streaming Dispatch, which I already had pegged as one of my games of the year. So I'm
What is
excited.
that about?
So it's about a superhero who gets hurt. He gets his I think it's his he's like a kind of like an Iron Man kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
And his suit gets damaged, he gets hurt, and he's basically a dispatcher for dispatching other heroes, like almost like this D squad along in this agency.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it's made by Ad Hoc, who was also, I believe, a bunch of former Telltale, because it's a Telltale style game. So it's gonna have multiple episodes come out, and so I'm excited to actually try it. So
Yeah, no, Telltale is they do really good with those episodic games like the Game of Thrones one. But yeah, no, like he said, guys, YouTube mostly, Twitch, TikTok, go follow him, please.
Alrighty, everyone. I hope you guys all have a fantastic night. And as always, I'm Taylor from Afro Fish OG, and I will catch you all in the next one.
Bye.